Hello there. Happy morning to all. Let's thank God for letting us into the 5th day of Lent. I am Reny here, and that's my friend Sharon. Both of us, on behalf of Dombivili Parish Youths, shall help you towards your daily devotion today. Let's turn our Bibles to the book of Exodus, chapter 17, verse 6. It reads, "I will stand there before you by the rock at Horeb. Strike the rock, and water will come out of it for people to drink." It was a crowded day in the railway station, and this man pushed himself to the enquiry counter to ask, "Is the Lucknow Express on time, sir?" "That's late by 20 minutes, came a sharp reply. "How about Kanyakumari Express then?" "Yes, that's on time." "And what about Malabar Express, sir?" Frustrated now, the officer got up to ask, "Where exactly do you want to go?" And the man briskly replies, "Actually nowhere. I was just trying to ensure that the track is safe enough for me to cross it right now." Look at the extent to which we could go to make our life safe and secure. And yet, life has got to take its own turns, isn't it? In this passage, we have the Israelites who have come a long journey to their promised land. They have the pillar of fire, pillar of cloud, manna, quail, and all that it takes. Even with all these things, there are still times of need. Like they didn't have water here in this passage, and they chose to murmur against God. Years later, we have their own descendant, Jesus, who calls up his disciples and tells them not to carry an extra bag, shirt, or staff for their journey, but to leave every worry on God who provides everything. Let's take time to think then how much we spend on carefully planning each and every step of our life. And inevitably, when something has to go wrong, well, then history repeats itself. We can be even worse than the Israelites when it comes to blaming, can't we? This passage brings two things to mind. First, plans, those which I think should or can happen to me. Second, providence, those which God has in store for me. Just a second. My plans and God's providence are not enemies, are they? Definitely no. Just like Jeremiah reminds, God's plans for me are not for my evil, but for my welfare. God's providence then is definitely something that embraces all my plans. So no matter how workable my plans seem at this point of time, or how much ever roadblocks I've got to face in future, I know behind every rock, God awaits for me with waters that are sweeter. So let's pray to Him that in times of adversities, God gives us the wisdom to rely on His providence than to murmur against Him. May we all have a blessed Lent.